Good morning. Tuesday, March 10th is the Michigan presidential primary. Today on Spotlight, the leaders of the Michigan Democratic and Republican political parties, Lavora Barnes and Laura Cox, respectfully. Is the Great Lakes state ready for its moment in the national spotlight?
They don't call Super Tuesday for nothing.
Joe Biden is a decent guy, and I know that if I win the nomination, he'll be there for me. If he wins, I'll be there for him.
We did one of the great jobs. You say, how's President Trump doing? They go, oh, not good, not good. They have no clue.
We'll ask them as they sit side by side. It's Sunday, March the 8th. I'm Chuck Stokes, and this is Spotlight. Fill in the blanks for me, Madam Chairs. I'll start with you, Lavora Barnes. On primary election day, Michigan Democrats will
turn out in droves. The numbers are going to be big. Folks are excited to vote, and we're going to all turn out and vote.
No question in your mind?
Not a single question in my mind.
All right, Laura Cox, same question to you. What will Michigan Republicans do?
I think that voters across the state are excited to support our great president. I think the excitement is palpable, and we're really excited for next Tuesday.
All right, very good. We will see. They're going to see a litany of names on the ballot, particularly on the Democratic side. A lot of those people are no longer in this contest. What do you say to the viewers out there? What should they be doing now so that they are educated voters when they get in the booth? Laura Cox?
Well, from our party's perspective, the only person we talk about is President Trump, and we make sure that everybody knows that they need to re-elect the president. We want to make sure that he knows that Michigan has his back, and we're really excited to re-elect him. So that's what my message is to all the voters in Michigan.
All right, but he is being challenged within his own party.
Yep.
People need to know that in case they don't want to cast a vote for President Trump, or they maybe want to make a statement in some respects.
Yep, absolutely, and they have the ability to do that, of course, but we encourage them to support the president.
All right. Some would also say, why is he still in the race? I'm talking about former Governor Wells. We don't see him around.
No, nobody's heard from him in Michigan.
It's kind of a stealth campaign.
It is a very stealth campaign, but we're excited about the president and all the deliverables, the track record of successes that he's given to the people of Michigan and across the country. So we're excited for Tuesday, and we think it's going to be a great turnout on our side.
Lavora Barnes, I think last count I had was something like 14 or 15 names.
Folks need to do their homework, pick the one that they want, and go in and just find that name on the list. Ignore the rest of the names. Find the name you want on the list and vote. We'll do it this way this time, and then November it'll be much easier because we'll have the one we're all supporting.
But if there's been one charge against the Democrats, particularly from Bernie Sanders at this point, he says the Democratic establishment is trying to box him out of this race. And just look what has happened in the last few days. You have Governor Whitmer, you have former Governor Granholm, you have former Senator Carl Levin, you have Mayor Mike Duggan. I mean, this is clearly the establishment.
Yeah, these folks, obviously they have a vote too, they have a voice, they're allowed to speak up and say who they support. This party, however, remains completely neutral with one focus, and that's winning in November. We're going to beat Donald Trump. That's all that matters.
So Bernie Sanders does not have a valid point in saying
not
that
in Michigan.
He
certainly doesn't in Michigan. Whatever he wants to say about what's happening in other states, I can't speak to, but here in Michigan, we've been fair and open and will continue to be.
From both of your perspectives, who do you expect to really turn out in huge numbers?
Well, I think people across the state are really excited about the president and what he's done for their families or their businesses, and they want to step out and say, hey, listen, we support you. We want to continue on this upward swing, and I expect that people all across the state, from when I'm talking to folks each and every day, they're really excited to support the president. So I think we're going to have a very good turnout for this primary, even though one might say it's kind of not challenged on our side. It's less active as their side, for sure.
But it'll heat up in a little bit when it finally gets down to two people.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So turnout, yeah, it's going to be big. I think the exciting thing about Michigan finally getting to speak up and have our voices heard is that folks who've been frustrated and angry with this administration finally get to be heard on Tuesday. I think we're going to see huge turnout. We're going to talk about young folks voting because people are excited and angry and ready to get their voices heard and make a change. We're going to see a large African-American turnout. All of our voters are going to turn out in good numbers.
In 2016, Bernie Sanders pulled off what some people have described as a big surprise and beat Hillary Clinton in this state. The fact that Governor Whitmer has now come out with her endorsement on Morning Joe, along with some of the other people that I named, does that sort of slam the door on Bernie Sanders in this state?
Senator Sanders has lots of support in the state still. Folks who were here in 2016 are still here and are still supportive of him. This is going to be a contested primary. Folks need to remember it's not over until we all go vote, so everybody needs to go vote for their choice.
And let me take you guys just a little down the line, look into your crystal ball. In November, on Election Day, do both of you believe that Michigan may very well decide this presidential election, or will it not be that close?
I've been saying forever that the road to the White House runs right through Michigan. So yes, we are very much the decision here. And we'll win. The Democrats will win.
You think it'll be a very close contest?
I think that, frankly, given what I'm seeing out in the world, we're gonna do it big this time. We're gonna win big.
Well, I disagree with my good friend Lavora, but
I'm not surprised.
I do agree with her on one point that Michigan is definitely the path to the White House, and I feel that the president knows that he needs to win Michigan. He's invested in Michigan. We have a list of deliverables that he's done. You know, the economy's humming. Unemployment is at historic lows for minorities and women. Wages are increasing. All those kinds of things that mean something to people. Are their lives better than they were 4 years ago? Absolutely. They're going to go to the ballot box and they're going to reelect our president, and it's going to be a bigger number. I will say that, but the win will be a bigger number.
All right. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about absentee and absentee votes. I want to talk about independent voters, and I want to talk about the two of you.
All right.
We'll be right back. Don't go away. Absentees. A lot of people are concerned, particularly I think on the Democratic side right now, because there were so many candidates similar to Republicans in 2016. And a lot of people have said, I'm out of this race just within the last 72 or so hours. People have cast their ballots by absentee. Yeah. And they're saying, person I voted for is no longer in this race. Right. Can they change their ballot?
They can, and they should talk to their clerk. They need to go to their clerk at this point. It's a little late for mail, so go to their clerk and ask that clerk to spoil their original ballot that they sent in. They'll get a new ballot and they can vote for someone who's still in the race. And they should do that. It's important that, you know, you have your voice heard, and if your candidate's out, get back in there and find another one.
Well, maybe Republicans would still like to have a little mischief and a little excitement in this. Do you expect many to cross over?
Stay out of our primary.
And vote for Democrats just to mess things up.
I absolutely don't encourage that. You know, I support people coming out and saying, hey, Mr. President, we have your back, we support you. So I want everybody to take advantage of No Reason AV. I think that that's really important. You know, life gets in the way, and sometimes you had the best laid plans and, you know, somebody's sick or whatever. You can't make it to the polls and you had intended to. So take advantage. Go get your absentee ballot, fill it out, and give it back to the clerk so that you can actually have your voice heard on Tuesday. So that's what I encourage people to do.
All right. Let's talk about independent voters, because there are a lot of people in this state and across this country that say, I'm not a diehard Democrat, I'm not a diehard Republican. I go both ways depending on who's running. I evaluate the individual candidates, and I don't like this process of having to go in and declare that I'm voting Democrat or I'm voting Republican. I know they, you know, in public information doesn't say exactly who you voted for, but at least says you picked up a Democratic or a presidential, a Democratic or a Republican ballot. What do you say to that independent voter that may feel, I'm intimidated by this process and I don't like it?
I think I just encourage them to support who they believe in, like Lavora said. I think it's really important if they're moved to support the president, if they think their lives are better, then they should go and pull the Republican ballot. It's like our team, our way of selecting who our team is from either party. And then in November, they can split their ballot, but this is selecting the team. And sometimes you have a lot more things in a primary. But this is a presidential primary, so you have to kind of play with the two teams that are in play right now, and we encourage them to pull the ballot for the Republican candidate, President Trump.
All right. Lavora Barnes, same question.
Yeah, I think that this is the year, this is the cycle where it is a little bit less about partisan politics and a little bit more about the future of our country. And I think that independent voters should be thinking about how they feel about where our country is right now, and the anger and the vitriol that we all have seen happening in Washington, D.C., led by the President of the United States, the broken promises over and over again, and come over and vote on the Democratic side and help us choose someone to run against President Trump and win in November.
How important is, we're hearing a lot of talk now about the down ballot, that once you get past the presidential race, that we're talking about representatives for Congress, we're talking about Senate races, we're talking about all sorts of other things. How much, when you're going about all these different counties, talking to all the different people that you're talking to on a daily basis, are you talking about the importance of that so that in November it's not just whoever becomes the next president of the United States or retains the presidency of the United States?
Right. Well, absolutely. You know, that's our job as chair, is to make sure that we get, from my perspective, Republicans elected up and down the ballot. And Lavora has a different job, but the same thing, up and down the ballot. And that's what we encourage people to support, Republicans, the things we stand for, the things we believe in. And, you know, right now we're talking about the president and how, you know, under his leadership, we brought over 100,000 new jobs to the state of Michigan alone, and 20,000 of those are in the manufacturing sector. The president made promises, and he's keeping those promises. He's pushed the USMCA, which is in response to President Bill Clinton's NAFTA, who workers across the country and here in Michigan were frustrated with that deal, that trade deal. And he did the hard work, rolled up his sleeves, and came out with the USMCA, which is going to be a huge boon for Michigan's economy in the agricultural as well as manufacturing sector. So those kinds of things mean something to people. And so when I talk to them about the things that matter to them and why they need to support Republicans.
I believe it's all about the economy when it gets right down to it.
Yes, I do.
We need an economy that lifts everyone, not just the folks at the top. We need an economy that allows folks to pay for their health care and put food on the table and send their kids to school with just one job, maybe, rather than the 2 and 3 that I know people here in Michigan have to have. They need to be able to count on having their manufacturing jobs stay here, not sent overseas or not leave. So yeah, it's about the economy. And when we're talking about our grassroots folks who are knocking doors and having conversations on the doors, those are the things they're talking about. Those kitchen table issues that matter to people. Those are the things our down ballot candidates are going to be talking about, because that's how we're going to win, is having these conversations everywhere, all over the state.
All right, we need to sneak another break in there. When we come back, I promise I'm going to have you talk a little bit about yourself and then some of the grassroots things that both of you are doing within your party to try to have inclusion and make people feel a part of this entire process. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Talk a little bit about yourselves. You're both relatively new chairs of your respective political parties here in the state of Michigan. Laura Cox, your background and what prepared you for this job?
Well, I'm born in Michigan, raised in Michigan, went to Michigan State, go green, and I was an ICE agent for 13 years in Detroit, the Special Agent in Charge office in Detroit. Stepped out to raise my children. I was expecting my 4th child at the time, decided to leave office, stay home mom for a couple years, and went into office. I was elected as a Wayne County Commissioner, then as a state representative, and been active in grassroots politics for years. So I have 4 kids, and I'm a Mimi to 2 little girls, and married to Mike, and just living the dream.
All right, and for those out there who are saying Mike who? Mike Cox, who
Yes.
used to be Attorney General of this state. And,
Yes.
spent some time in Lansing himself, and is
Yes.
now back in private practice.
Yes, he is.
All right, very good. Lavora Barnes?
So I'm originally from Virginia. I've been in Michigan almost 20 years now, so Michigan is definitely home. I've worked in politics my entire life, started in Virginia, helping folks win elections in Virginia. I spent some time in the White House, and then came to Michigan and started working for the State House, where I was the communications and political director at the State House. Was there for 7 years. And then in 2012, I was the state director for the Obama campaign, which was a lot of fun. And then I spent 2 years in the clerk's office. I was the deputy clerk in Oakland County, helping Lisa Brown there in Oakland. And then I came to the party as the chief operating officer, helping run the day-to-day of the state party before running for chair last February.
I can't remember the last time, and it may have happened in this state, where we had 2 women party chairs at the same time. It may have happened. I haven't checked my history book on that. But I think that makes a statement on many levels. The 2 of you talk a little bit about that, and what role does that play in the job that you're trying to do for your respective parties?
Yeah, First, there's only been one other woman chair of the Democratic Party, and so I'm only the second woman, so I don't know that we had women chairs chairing both parties at the same time. And what we saw in 2018 was the beginning of this. This is the year of the woman. It's been the season of the woman, I would say. Like we did so well with women all at the top of the ticket in 2018. Women run, women work, women are terrific candidates, terrific staffers, terrific workers. Women are the backbone of the party and backbone of the home and the family. So they become very important, I think, when it comes to making decisions around politics and elections. And that means issues that are important to women. The issues that are important that we talk about around our kitchen tables are the issues our candidates should be talking about.
All right.
I'm excited to be, I think I'm the third or fourth chair of the Michigan Republican Party. Obviously, a couple chairs ago, Ronna McDaniel now is the chair of the RNC, so we're really proud of her and excited that she's a Michigan girl and lives just a couple miles away from me.
Right. Has been on this show many times.
Yep, she's a great sounding board for advice. But listen, the Michigan Republican Party is excited to talk to every voter about their issues and what's important to them. And my thing is, listen, we know what makes people click, whether it's supporting our veterans and our military, a strong military, whether they're talking about the opioid crisis that the president has tackled, took the bull by the horns, is really trying to make sure we keep families together, where we're talking about criminal justice reform. That's the message that the Republicans have to every voter, to every person that wants to weigh in on this election. What's important to you, and we'll point to what the president has done to make sure that that happened, to make your life better. And that's our message.
If women are such a key factor in all this, why isn't America saying it's time for a woman president?
Well, on my side, we have President Trump, so that's our leader right now, and that's who we want to support. But he has a great breadth of leaders that are women that support him and are close advisors. Like I said, Ronna McDaniel is probably his closest advisor, and he talks to her politically every day, many times a day, to get her advice and to pick her brain on what she thinks works and what kind of decisions he needs to make politically. He's a strong leader, and the things he's done, the track record of successes, help women, and those are the things that resonate with families. When they're going to talk to their friends and their neighbors and their coworkers about who they need to support, they're going to connect and click with him with the things that he's supported and done and delivered, like low unemployment for women, historically low unemployment for women and minorities, and wages are increasing under his leadership. Those kinds of things matter, and I think that in the end, in November, we're going to reelect the president.
All right, I'm going to let you answer that in a second. I'm curious why I've got you here. Ronna Romney McDaniel sat in that same chair you're in many times. I'm old enough to remember when a man we used to call the silver-haired fox, her grandfather sat in this chair, George Romney. Are you surprised, maybe even a little shocked at the difference between Ronna Romney McDaniel and this difference that she has with Mitt Romney?
You know, I mean, families fight. They have, they have disagreements. I know she loves her uncle and she loves her family, but they have a difference of opinion. And Ronna is a strong person. She's a strong individual, and she has goals to achieve, and she's going to stick to her goals, and she's going to speak up when she needs to speak up. But she's a firecracker, and I like that she's politely disagreed with her family member if she needs to, because she has a job to do and she does it very well. And
shows that the party is big enough to agree and disagree even within families.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, LeVar Barnes.
I think what's important, Chuck, is that the Democrats are the party where multiple women have run viable candidacies for president. And that's because, we talk about the issues that matter most to women, that we are a place that is supportive of women and welcomes women, obviously, into our process. I think this cycle, we had so many folks in this race. It was always going to narrow down. It couldn't remain. Everybody couldn't remain. And here we sit with the folks who've made the best case to the Democrats so far. I think that it can always be a woman. It will be a woman again. That's how the Democratic Party will operate.
In 2018, Joe Biden supported Gretchen Whitmer and her bid to become governor of this state. Bernie Sanders supported Dr. El Sayed. Is this payback time?
No. This is about
not payback
This is
time.
about defeating Donald Trump. That is all this is about.
You're sure of that?
I am sure of that. We need to win.
All right. We need to take a final break, and we'll hurry right back with some final questions. Stay with us. Many people will say Governor Whitmer got elected because she said it's time to fix, quote unquote, the damn roads. We can have a long debate about whether or not that's getting done. Republicans have come out with a new plan. Your thoughts about this issue that, for better or worse, is with us?
You're talking about the bonding? I thought it was an end around. It was a tax.
But I guess the Republican House has just come out with a plan that they say that will not raise taxes. Yeah,
the gas tax. I trust that. I don't do legislation anymore, but I trust that the leader Shirkey and Speaker Chatfield are working very well together, and I think they're going to have a very good plan to deliver to the voters. And hopefully this time the governor will work with her, unlike she did in the last budget cycle. So I think it's really important that we have taxation with representation, and the governor didn't do that. She did an end around and is taxing our grandchildren and with debt. But I'm excited to see if we get some legs on this one.
All right. LaVora Barnes, is this a good plan the Democrats should get behind?
Yeah, the Democrats are behind their governor. We've been working hard to help her make the promises that she made real. And this legislature has blocked her at every turn. And I'm hoping that finally in 2020, when we give her a state house, she'll have at least one house to work with to get some things done. She's done what she's done in terms of the bonding because the legislature wouldn't work with her to get the roads fixed. So now the roads will get fixed.
Well, and it's interesting, I don't mean to interrupt, but the governor had a 45-cent gas tax, and not even a Democrat would support her. So,
well, but the governor did have a plan, at least.
And the House, and the State House and the Senate had a plan as well. But either way, hopefully the governor learned her lesson and she will negotiate and be a leader, not an obstructionist.
All right, 30 seconds left. Each of you, final pitch to the voters out there. What do you want them to do here in Michigan on primary election day?
I absolutely want everybody to get out and vote. Like I said, if your day's not looking solid, please go get an absentee ballot. You need no reason to get an absentee ballot and support our president. I think it's going to be a great way to roll into the rest of the election cycle, and we're really excited across Michigan, and people every day are supporting our president. We're really excited. We need him to do it on Tuesday.
All right. LaVora Barnes,
primary is the first stop along the road of fixing the problems that have been created by this president. Folks need to get out and vote on Tuesday and then turn around and do it again in November, because the fate of the nation, frankly, rests on us fixing these problems and fixing them in November.
All right, Madam Chairs, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for
having me. Pleasure having both of you.
Thanks.
And we'll try to get you back as often as we can. I know you're crisscrossing 83 different counties across this, but November's going to roll around real fast.
Yep.
All right. And don't forget that the polls are open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. Do your civic duty, get out and cast your ballot. And on primary election night, stay tuned to Action News for the most up-to-date and comprehensive political coverage on Channel 7 and TV 20.